everybody! Welcome back to Northernlion Plays Prison Architect 2015, I guess. Episode 2 again. At the head of these episodes, I'm going to mention that this is sponsored content. It's sponsored by Prison Architect. You can get it now on Steam. There will be a link in the video description below. Please take this as entertainment rather than honest critique. That being said, we have finished our first episode here, and we finally got a prison capable of actually handling prisoners. I tend to play Prison Architect pretty quickly. Like, I play it on speed... on speed 3, usually. Call it a leftover, a byproduct from the Paradox grand strategy days for me. We can see right here, this is very helpful. Our prisoner capacity right now is 16, so we can actually take one more day of 8 prisoners showing up. And we're making a decent amount of money, like 16... Oh, no. Is this... Like, one of these pipes is not getting enough water at all times. We can fix this just by doing that, but it is going to be annoying. We also probably want to hire some more guards here, because the problem with these jail doors is now that we have prisoners, the guards have to open the jail doors for the workmen to get through, unless we want to manually do it ourselves, which we can. But I'll hire 2 more guards, and you can see how many of them are doing nothing, which right now is 0 out of 4. Which means, you know, you'd like to have some kind of sitting around doing nothing so that they're free to help the workmen when they need to get where they need to go, but it's okay either way. There's also one of these that is sometimes running out of water. It's not a huge problem, but it's something, you know, maybe we should be worried about. Alright, let's look, because we have some spare money right now, let's look at our warden's bureaucracy and see what we want. Groundskeeping would probably be good. Prison policy, micromanagement. We'll just knock out a bunch of stuff right now while we can. And in order to kind of inform our next to-do list, let's look at our grants. So, inmate health and well-being. Build a medical ward, hire at least 2 doctors, and hire a psychologist. That's easy. Prison maintenance. Unlock maintenance, unlock cleaning, unlock groundskeeping, hire at least 2 janitors and a gardener. We can do both of these easily over the course of this episode and give us a lot more money with which to work with here. So let's start with building a medical ward. Now, before we build a medical ward, I think it's important for us to keep in mind how we want our prison to look from, like, a pathfinding perspective. I think it's valuable to build sort of like this. So we're going to treat this space, we're going to make a border, basically, of 2 tile-wide hallways around. And then we're going to, we don't necessarily need to do this, like, we could keep some space, or we could build down into these 2 down here, but just for efficiency's sake, I think this is okay. And then this is going to be our space from which to build some other rooms. Now, out of this, I need to build a medical ward, and I think it's probably in our best interest to prioritize 1 more room after that. It could be a common room, or it could be a family visitation room. I don't think we can build both. At least not in a prison this small, but we have enough money to build a second wing, which we could easily put over here, and keep this as like an admin building, or like a maximum security or minimum security or something like that. But rather than building more cell blocks, I think it's important to at least get this done right now. So we're going to build a medical ward. It doesn't have to be huge. We could probably get away with like that. And then maybe a very small common room and a large visitation room. But how big does a common room have to be? Let's look at medical ward. Infirmary just needs to be indoors, have a medical bed. Visitation room needs to be indoors and have visitor tables, which are quite large. And a common room only needs to be indoors. We could fit a pool table in there. I'm not saying it's gonna be the most amazing common room of all time, but it should at least be functional here. So we can accomplish a lot of different things here, I think. Let's do this, this, this. All right. And you know what? We might as well hire our janitorial staff right now as well. We need at least 2 janitors. Gonna cut into our daily budget, but a clean prison is a prison that people are less likely to revolt in. We also need groundskeeping and a gardener. That's gonna be done in pretty much no time flat. I also think it would not be the worst idea in the world to make our cells a little bit nicer. I'm thinking we'll put a bookshelf and maybe a radio in them, because right now, if we look at them, cell quality 1, average, cell quality 1, average. The cells are small, and they don't really have anything to do in them, so that's going to be unfortunate, let's put it that way. It can lead to some unfortunate situations. So we'll have a door, and then a common room door, and this is going to be our visitation room, so we probably want a staff door on that one. But we can put like a staff, we could probably make this bigger, but whatever. And let's set these rooms out the way we want them. So this is going to be a common room. Again, not a nice common room, but a common room. And despite it having no doors, it is accessible, I guess, so that's okay. This will be our visitation room. And this will be our infirmary. Dare I say, we actually have a pretty nice looking prison here for like day 2. Now, again, I wouldn't really expect our infirmary to make anybody super happy right now. We're only going to be able to really fit 2 medical beds in it. We need to get rid of this garbage if you're going to install that bed. But it's okay. And then I think we need at least like 2 TVs for another grant. So we'll put down a television inside of our common room. And we can always put another one somewhere else in the world. And we'll put down like a wide sofa so they can sit. You know, you have a good time here. We'll put down a few sofas. We might as well put down a second TV. It doesn't really matter. And then actually there will not really be room for a pool table. So instead we'll throw out like some bookshelves or something like that. You know, don't be a fool. Read some books. There we go. Not the nicest common room in prison history, but that's okay. And then visitors tables. I'm going to throw these in. Again, the more space you got, the better. We also want to fit in as many of them as possible, but it's a tough kind of balance to maintain. So we're also going to hire our psychologist because we did unlock them. Yes, and they require their own office, so we'll just put them down here, and then they'll be like, hey, what are you doing in the accountant's office? I thought you were both married, and then you'll come down here, and now he's got his own office, and we'll hire 2 doctors, which again is going to cut into our daily profits, but it's a necessary function of making this prison actually work. Now, I'm just making sure, did all the prisoners get fed? It really seems like all the prisoners got fed. This is our danger warning right here, our danger level. But right now, everybody's saying they're well treated. 3 prisoners say they're well treated. We can take a quick look and see, you know, maybe get in front of the kind of problems that they're going to have. Right now, they're loving life. Everybody's satisfied. A slight discomfort. You know, they really need to use the bathroom as well. I guess the only bathrooms are inside of their cells, but I've never really thought about making like a public bathroom here. It's like, you know, your cell doors are open. If you really need to go to the bathroom, just go back to your cell as far as I'm concerned. Now we're going to see the prisoners are starting to get hungry. I really want to see if they're actually able to be fed consistently. That's going to be important for us. We also do need a staff room soon, or we're going to have some problems. Because our staff are starting to get a little tired. What we might want to do for that is just build out our foundation a little bit more. Sometimes it can get a little wonky when you work with, you know, an existing foundation, but it's relatively cheap for us to build. And we'll build it in the staff area so that our staff can already get there. Oh, this guy's got some freaking contraband to do. Oh, he OD'd! Store prisoner in medical bed. Eventually we'll be able to get guard dogs that can sniff for stuff like that. But thank God we had a medical ward, or our prisoner may have died, and that's really bad for our bottom line. I hate to put it in such callous terms, but it really does make a difference. You know, that's an important consideration that we have. Okay, so obviously we need to build another brick wall here, but we also thus we could have another office if we wanted to, but let's just have like a decently sized staff room. And this is another requirement for a future grant. So it might seem like we're wasting money building a room like this, but, you know, it'll pay for itself later. We're probably wasting a lot of space by having, like, this open tiled hallway here, but you know, it makes it easy to expand in the future, and, you know, I think it's always better to have some extra space than to not. Are our prisoners getting displeased? Have they eaten today? Because it looks like they have not all been fed. No, they're fine. We got another 8 prisoners coming in shortly as well. So if I remember correctly, a staff room needs to be 4x4, so we almost messed that one up. But it's large enough, and it needs a wide sofa and a drink machine. So you know what? We'll make it even better. 2 wide sofas and 2 drink machines. Enjoy yourself in there. Yeah, okay. Once those get down, you can see 1 staff member is exhausted, 1 are resting. 2 staff members are exhausted, 1 is resting. This is good. One of our grants is about to be complete. The other one is already done, so we'll hire a gardener quickly. Gardeners, they take care of the grass. I think they eventually cut down trees if you want them to. Workmen can also do that, and they like prune the shrubs and stuff like that. Yeah, they take care of like outside areas. They're like outside janitors within the context of prison architect. We got another 8 prisoners arriving in the morning. Day 1 of our prison went pretty well, I'd say. Let's look at our future grants here. Visitation rights. Build a visitation room, 3 visitors tables, a common room, add a pool table, 2 TVs, 5 phone booths. We can do that easily. We're almost done it already if we on pause. Yeah, we just need 2 more phone booths and a pool table. Security procedure certification. Hire a security chief, hire 10 guards. That's a little tough. Prisoner acclimatization and engagement is also a little tough. We need to do some more research, I guess is what I'm getting at. Staff well-being. Build a staff room. Have 5 guards without assigned duties. Make sure no staff are exhausted. I think we can do that one relatively quickly. We need 5 staff without duties, so we will... Or 5 guards, I should say. So we'll hire, like, 2 more guards. We're not making very much money, but that'll complete that, and we were going to do it anyway. We need those guards eventually. I'm not going to say we might as well hire them now, but we might as well hire them now. We'll throw down a pool table here. You know, I'm going to move it. It's not good angles, you know. I've played billiards a little bit in my day, and it's not great to keep a pool table outside where it could just be rained on, but I think there's not any rain, so that's good for us. And we'll throw down 1 more phone booth, and when that's built, that should complete that grant as well. Then we should probably start thinking about building a larger prison, because, you know, that is how you make money. Right now we're making $12 a day. That's not particularly strong. We'll probably need to build, like, a second cell block, maybe adjacent to our staff building here. They can still use the existing showers. They can still use the existing canteen. I don't think we need to worry about getting like that yet. So let's look at our warden. What do we need next? Probably education is something we should look at. Patrols. We're queuing these up basically. Clone, prison labor. That's good for now. That's a decent amount of money we just spent there. And after we get this next cell block done, we might start to make our prison look kind of pretty. Before the next prisoners arrive, even though they have space to go, you know, I'll keep it on speed 1. That's pretty slow. Let's plan. So I want a building that is basically cell blocks. And I think it's most effective if we can just have a pathway kind of continue down like this. So can we fit cells in this area right here? Well, if this is our building, then it'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4. This would be where our cells are. So instead, let's like take 2 tiles off this way. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this will work. So basically when you walk in, it'll be cells immediately. Looking like this. And you can get to huge capacity this way. This is right, okay. It takes me admittedly, when it comes to spatial awareness, let's just put it this way, that's not my strong suit. You know, I'm a language guy. I'm a big old dork, so I don't build things, I don't use my hands. Ever, as a rule, if I can avoid it. Are these rooms large enough? They're going to be exactly 2 by 3, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 is a good number for cell blocks. And we'll build this will be a wall here. And then we'll do exactly the same thing on our other side. So they need to be at least 3 wide. And then 4 up. This is a very easy way to build another cell block here. Just to make sure these are subdivided in the proper fashion. And this is really what a lot of Prison Architect comes down to when your prison's running well. It's kind of a modular game, and you're just adding more modules onto your prison. 16 prisoners, I don't know, that's like another couple of $1,000s a day. That's another 2 days of intake, let's put it that way. And this is a pretty effective expansion. I actually feel like we probably have enough money to maybe even double it up. So let's do 1, 2, 3, and then 4 down. And then we'll do exactly the same thing. There's going to be 2 tile wide hallways. Again, if you find my planning tedious, a plan or failure to plan is a plan to fail, dog. We're a prison architect, not prison, you know, get it built by tomorrow or you're fired. But we are going to try to expand quickly, because I want to make as much money as possible here. So this will be able to hold 32 new prisoners, which, as you may not be surprised to find out, is actually going to complete a grant for us as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. And don't worry about this fence. We can always, fences are cheap. You know, we can get those taken care of without much trouble here. And it's not paused. We're letting some time tick by. You know, it's good to not build too quickly. It is almost like programming in the way you want to make a change, test, make a change, test. Because if your change messes something up, you want it to be easy to diagnose. So in the final preparations here, there will be a pathway stretching here to here, at the very least. Probably we want it like that, actually. Or at least like that. And then the final part of the foundation might as well go like to here, honestly. I don't know what we're going to do with this area up here, but we can build like another building or another room here. Maybe this could be like a cleaning closet or something like that, or like a workshop. Okay, so let's get started. How do we want to build this foundation? It's going to be a little tricky because prisoners are going to be able to escape through the wall and the foundation once we crack into that. So the first thing we should do is build an extension of our fence. We'll let our workmen get to going on that. And then we'll build out the rest of it here. So that's, you know, pretty much I've just put in a to-do list for the rest of our episode. And I'll go back to speed 3. Now, we also could do something with this holding cell. Because maybe I'm being inefficient with it, but I really don't intend to use our holding cell for anything. So, what could we replace that with right off the bat? We definitely don't need a morgue that large, unless something's gone terribly wrong. You know what? We'll probably blow that out and make our canteen larger in the future. Because right now, that's just a whole load of wasted space. We could also use it as a storage room. Space is always at a premium. What about a chapel? It needs to be 6 by 6. What happens when a bureaucratic committee gets together and designs a solution to inmates' religious needs? A multi-faith prayer room. That's what we refer to it as, a chapel. I have never built a chapel in this game before, but prisoners do have a need for religion, spirituality at least. Let's turn this into a chapel. So we'll dismantle this bench. I don't think you need a toilet in the chapel, and we'll make it. This is going to be probably larger than necessary, but that's okay. Indoors, altar, pews, and a prayer mat. Again, I've never built this before, so bear with me a little bit. Altar, that should be up at the front, I assume. And then pews. We'll put it down like... I'm assuming they can walk in between those. And prayer mats. Protects your prisoners from the dirty floor while they offer their prayers. You can tell I haven't really been to too many chapels in my day. I don't think this is how they're set up. Well, you know... Oh, I took the freaking altar out by accident. There you go. At least we built one. Maybe it's inefficient. We'll find that out later. Also, keep in mind, our capacitor is getting pretty close here. It's probably best to get... You never want your prison to black out. It's better to just take care of that before it becomes a problem. So, even though capacitors are pretty expensive, let's throw another 4 on here. Just so that when we make our huge expansion to our cell block here, we don't run into just unbelievable problems. Alright, so the chapel's going to be the next thing they focus on building. We have prisoners arriving in about an hour and a half. Lots of deliveries. This is a danger when you're expanding really quickly, is they can get backed up super quickly. So, like the prison, sometimes you'll end up having like prisoners waiting in a car for a whole day. 2 prisoners have serious complaints. Hygiene. That's something we should probably change by giving, if I remember correctly, there's kind of a trick you can do with your regime. They start with lockup time in the morning. If you give them free time in the morning, followed by shower, how's their food need also? Food. Totally fine. If you give them free time in the morning, many inmates will choose to shower. So that kind of mitigates the fact that it can take a long time for every prisoner to shower at the same hour. It's much better, if possible, to have them come in like this. Okay, so let's, we got more prisoners coming in. It's going to take a little while here. The altar is going to be built soon. This is okay. You have overdosed again. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed, really. And let's take a look at our prisoner needs one more time. Food has got to be getting up there. Oh, man, this is very well run right now. I'm quite proud of myself. You know what? I am going to toot my horn for once. You know, you can really, like, dismantle this toilet, get it out of the church. I think it kind of sends the wrong message. Not the church, sorry, the chapel. I think we only needed 1 prayer mat, but you know, I don't know if people are gonna. Maybe we'll have like 16 people praying at the same time. It could happen. It is going to make this room look hideous from, like, a graphical perspective. But that's okay. It's not even, like, symmetrical. Have our prisoners are entering the prison. This is okay. Okay, let's look at some bios. Klaus Ginger Yasmin. He was a German who one day decided to kill every single person he could find that ever called him Ginger, because any other method is simply not efficient enough. Zach, Spare Time Gamer, Antel. As a YouTuber, Zach enjoyed making videos. He loved it so much, he got music of YouTube. He put it in his videos, and he got so many copyright strikes, he was sentenced to prison. He has been falsely convicted of many more crimes. He may face death. Methinks the lady doth protest too much. Zach, Spare Time Gamer. Perjury, robbery, perjury, violent disorder. Violent disorder. All not guilty, though, so maybe you never know. Josray Drithian. Arrested due to incompetent heisters who couldn't get the thermal drill in time during a robbery gone wrong. It's payday the heist. Horst Borsty Tafferner. Horst, an ex-soldier, went amok with his M109850E after being confined to barrack for another boring day in his hometown of Feldbach. No one got injured, but the damage caused resulted an eject from army and 5 years in prison. Sean Finley, sentenced to 6 years for robbery. Osmotaz Buckshank. Anyway, this is good. It was, it's got some good bios. Lots more custom bios now. I wonder if that's by design. I always like reading the custom bios. I'm not harping on anybody for, like, not speaking English as a first language, by the way. I am mining that for a little bit of humor. That's my own personal thing, I guess. Now, prepare for a little bit of disorder. If you are the kind of person who likes things to be very nice and neat, you are gonna flip your freaking lid when this foundation gets finished, because our prison is gonna be hideous, but hopefully it's only hideous temporarily. We're also gonna quickly turn off our intake, because we're not ready for new prisoners yet, but we will be ready for new prisoners soon. Like, again, this is gonna add another 32 spots to our prison or something along those lines. This is why we had to build this fence right now. We had to build the extension of the fence right now, because without doing that, prisoners would just be able to, like, walk through the wall. This is not how this is supposed to look, by the way. Did I? Yeah, okay, it's getting ready to be built. So we need to demolish walls here, and then, like, build a brick foundation here and here. Just give it a minute. It's gonna take a second, and that's gonna be okay. We're gonna survive, but if you're getting a little anal about it, that's okay, because I think you should be. This is gonna be messy for some time. But once you're really not supposed to be here, Sage. How did it all get into this nutshell? No, seriously though, like, this is the staff area. Okay, I'll tell you what. You deserve a raise, prisoner, because I have you've highlighted an inefficiency in my safety plan, my security protocols. There should definitely be a fence there, so that you cannot get into this construction area, steal some logs. I don't know what you're gonna do with them, but I don't like the idea of you having them. Workmen, what are you doing? Where are my workmen? Hello, workmen. We have stuff to do here. Foundations. Did I not build it? Maybe I didn't build it. Here you go. This is what I need you to do now. You've already demolished that. We also need a foundation here and here. We can't build it there. We just need, maybe the foundation's already there. We just need a wall. Sometimes it can be a little tricky. It should build... I thought the fence needed to be demolished, but I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'm mistaken. Again, this is... imagine, let me put it this way. Imagine how messy it must be to make an addition to an existing building. You gotta deal with codes and stuff like that, building codes, and all these problems that I'm gonna be dealing with right here. But it's a necessary evil to expand our prison safely and effectively, I think. And right now, I got no complaints at all. 12 out of 15 prisoners say they're being well treated. Is there any consistent problem? Spirituality, what are you talking about? I just built you this awesome chapel. Maybe you need to go there in your free time. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, I mean, if you have free time, that's when you can use the chapel. As far as I'm concerned, at least. That's the way it looks to me as an outsider, but I thought maybe I had to set, like, a special, like, spiritual observation period in the morning or something like that, but it doesn't appear so. So today we have no prisoners coming in. We're making a good deal of money. Our prison is going to be expanded. We should take our next grant. So grant is cell block B, raise prisoner capacity to 50. And we got 10,000 for that. We're going to be spending a lot of money on lights here. So let's just take a quick look at our building. How does it look? It looks good. This is how I want it lined up. But we do need to demolish this wall right here. That was just a necessary evil of building this setup here. Now, if I remember correctly, in our bureaucracy here, we now have our clone tool. I'm going to try to use that. Might as well research some more stuff as well. Do we have any other people that we could hire? Not that I can see. I mean, eventually armored guards, lawyer, yes, but we still have plenty of offices left over for them. Okay, so this is how we want things to look. Yes, but we do need a wall here and then here. But I'm only going to use the clone tool to put the contents of the cell. I'm not going to use the clone tool to actually build the cells themselves. I'm only going to use it to fill the contents of the cells. Because I don't know if it works that way. It's been a while since I used the clone tool, and I was finicky with it at best, but it's an indispensable tool when you get to the point where you're dealing with, you know, several rooms that you have to alter on a regular basis. Now, the cool thing about Prison Architect is that if we wanted to, we could have, like, one minimum security wing and one maximum security wing, or medium security wing for that matter, and just subdivide them by with jail doors. But we're not going to do that just yet. I'm gonna keep this easy. We're going to ease ourselves into it. This might not even be a prison that we use long term. This might just be kind of our starter prison, you know, and we'll roll with it as long as is prudent for us. And then we'll sell it, and then we'll build our, like, Supermax, right? And then we'll make so much money, you don't even know what to do with it. But, by the way, you know, there's troubling connotations with Prison Architect. I think that much is obvious. You know, we are building a for-profit prison here, and occasionally there can be people who take that the wrong way, or maybe they feel that they're taking it the right way. All I'm going to say on the subject is that I treat it as if it is a satire. I think it's meant to be treated as if it's a satire. If you feel differently, though, that is your prerogative, and you're right as well. But I'm not getting into sticky issues like that. And if you're headed into the YouTube comments to debate something like that, I think you're getting a recipe for trouble, Mr. and/or Miss. Oh, no. So I see the problem now. We have expanded our prison, and now we have large pipes running under our actual cells. This is a problem. But it's a problem. A lot of Prison Architect is also about compromises. And I'm thinking that, is this a compromise I want to worry about? And the answer, honestly, is I think yes. I really don't want to deal with escapes. So we're going to build some large pipes out this way. And what this will do is basically allow us to bypass our existing cell block, and then we can dismantle the other ones, and we'll build small pipes in. That way, I can't stress enough, you can sometimes do a shakedown of your prison, which is like this button down here, and then your guard dogs will search for tunnels, and your guards will search for tunnels as well, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, everybody in the prison is now working their way out of here. It's not good. They're all tunneling down like Andy Dufresne style, and we want to put a stop to that if possible. Oh, people are mad. 11 prisoners have serious complaints. What's the problem? Hygiene. Well, this is your job here. We can't see, by the way, because we don't have a guard here. Yeah, they're okay. They're fine. What we want to avoid, though, or what we want to watch out for is situations where we have recurring problems that show up over and over and over again. For example, if they're... Oh, please tell me. At least it's not the same guy that OD'd this time. Chuck Ranger. Charlie likes to choke people. Charlie choked a dude out at the Kroger down the street and is now doing time. That is like the most realistic prisoner bio I've seen in the game so far, I think. 1 staff member's exhausted, 0 arresting, 3 visitors on site. Your prison is close to new inmates. This is what we want, yeah. Okay, so we're just waiting for all the utilities to be built. Again, we want to have it all set up before the prisoners get out, or before the prisoners come in. We're making about $1,000 a day. You know, it's not PewDiePie money, but we can survive like this for now. Is this a fence? The fence has been like overgrown with vines or something. You know, we got utilities being built here, so it's gonna take us a little while, and that's okay. Again, like, it's gonna be hard for our workmen to actually get around all the way down there and build these pipes. And this is kind of what I mean when I say that Prison Architect is about building kind of like an efficient machine. We're not at the point where we're making an efficient machine yet. This is still pretty inefficient, but it's mostly getting the job done. For 16 inmates, but, you know, I've had prisons, and I've seen prisons that have been in the thousands, or at least the high hundreds, but I've had prisons of, you know, 100-200 inmates, and that's where things really start to get interesting, but also very tricky. I can't stress enough, one of the biggest tips, huge hallways. Tiles, or 2-tile wide hallways will save you so much trouble in your life. It's just like real life. You ever been in a situation you're in like a big lineup or a queue for something and people are jostling you and nobody has any respect for your personal space? Doesn't that make you want to riot a little bit? Just say, if you ever been like, well, if they just made this space for us to wait a little bit larger, that would be great. This is exactly the situation that prison architect deals with all the time. It's very realistic. If you're not bumping up against somebody, rubbing shoulders with them, then you know, you're fine. You know, you're halfway towards a successful day. Still need one electrical aspect there. In fact, we might need some more down here as well. Our workmen, they're doing their best. It's not easy for them. It takes them a while to get it set up. It's okay. Don't worry about it. You got nothing really to sweat here. Sometimes it takes time, all right? It takes a little bit of time here. I also, in the future, what do I want to do? I want to replace the fences with stone walls so that it's even harder for our prisoners to get out. I want to make our deliveries area larger, our garbage area larger, and kind of separate it so that there's like a fenced-in or a walled-in area here that prisoners have to walk through, so that our workmen are kind of separated from the general population. Apart from that, I think it's going pretty well right now. Please build this. There's no jail doors there. You should be able to get in there. There's still a few pipes to build as well, but just wait till they have to dismantle those utilities. This is the point where you reach and you're like, is it really worth going through all of this just to ensure that your prisoners don't escape? And the answer is usually yes. Doesn't really matter if we have a large pipe there. There we go. So hopefully those will all be dismantled, but it's going to take a little while here. Oh, right. We have now broken the connection. Please install, please install. There's one more to install. These prisoners are going to wake up soon, and they're going to be real sweaty, and they are desperately going to want a shower. And if you could accomplish the goal of installing this pipe, my hero? There goes my hero. Watch him as he goes. These prisoners can now shower, and they'll have good hygiene. But still, we're missing, like, just a little bit of electrical cable. Not sure what's going on with this one. Just install it like that. It should be fine. And it might seem like overkill, but I'm going to do that as well. Yeah, there's some extra pipes in the walls. No big deal. No big deal for now, at least. You're taking out some trash? That's okay. We could hire some more workmen and speed this up, by the way. In the meantime, we know what we're doing next. If they install these electrical cables, it should... Yeah, there we go. Turned on. Okay, so we're going to get ready to use our clone tool. We're going to put a toilet. We're going to put a bed. And this is going to be a nice bookshelf, okay? We're going to put, or a nice cell. So we're going to put a radio in here. Each one of these radios is $100. That's a TV. No, that's a radio. Okay. Just want to make sure I got it pointed the right way. I don't know which way is the right way. Probably this way. And we're going to put a jail door. Now, it's going to make it hard for them to get in, but that's okay. Normally, actually, before we clone this, we should install all of the piping necessary. So we'll do it like that. And we'll do it like that. Why do it like this? Because small pipes can only carry liquid a certain distance. So I think it's best for us, if possible, to, it's a large, I don't know what I did with that large pipe there. It's best for us, if possible, to just, do it like this. In fact, it might even be better. This is going to save us a little bit of heartache here. A little bit of effort, at least. Well, now that I think about it, is that even going to work? They might not be getting enough water there. Look, I don't know, okay? I'm not a plumber. Sometimes I just try to do what seems logical, and we'll see if this works. And of course, we're going to make more cells. This is going to be a long video as well. The Prison Architect lends itself well to long-form content, I think, because I always want to do more. I don't want to end this episode until this cell block becomes at least somewhat fully functional, right? This will be a functional cell, though. Rooms. Cell. It doesn't have a working toilet yet, but it does have a toilet. And you know what? We should probably hire some more guards. Eventually, like probably next episode, we'll get into the point where we're actually making these guards, we're giving them patrols. For now, I'm not going to bother with it. It is a good idea, but we're not going to worry about it yet. Okay, is this... Please, just leave a guard there. I beg you. We've got 8 guards doing nothing. Somebody's got to be there to open up the jail door for this guy. This is why we should get the pipes installed first. But, if I remember correctly, where's the clone tool? It's a clone tool. Hold right mouse and drag to select an area to clone. And then we'll pop it down here, 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 here. Each one is only 430 bucks. That's not that bad, actually. And then we want to do it here, 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 here. We could probably do this with the jail door, by the way, but just to ensure that they can actually get in and out before using the jail door. So we're only going to use it for the ones on the one side here first, just to make sure it works. We got a lot of, like, infrastructure work to be done here before we invite them. But I think the prison's going well, you know. It's a sentence you don't hear every day, but the prisoners seem relatively happy with things. These toilets are already worked up for water. Some of them are already worked up for water. We got a lot of ridiculous piping still left to install, unfortunately, but it seems like it could be functional. Let's get some jail doors installed here. I don't think we're going to let in the huge influx of prisoners in this episode, but we're going to make it readily available. And what you should be excited about is the fact that the more prisoners we have, it's like, you know, the more atoms we have, the more moles of a product we have, the more reactive it's going to be. And that's really where the emerging gameplay starts to get exciting here. We get into, you know, these powder kegs of situations. Cells are getting up there. We got 20 cells available now. I'm still not going to allow new prisoners to get in here yet, just because there's going to be, you know, a lot of moving parts here, but that's okay as well. We should build probably an archetype cell that's facing the other direction over here. Like that. Like this. Like that. Sure, it's good enough anyway. And then we'll clone it. They can still use the radio if the radio's backwards. And then we'll just clone it and place it. Oh, you know what? We should not clone this yet. Because I think I think I may have just put a box of small pipes in every single room. That's not my intention. You know what? I think this is probably a good time for us to hire maybe like 3 more workmen. Oh, it's auto-saving. Okay. Oh, what you got? He's drunk? How'd you get prison alcohol, man? I built this prison and I don't even get to have any alcohol. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'd cloned the cell very poorly. Don't worry about it just yet. We're still installing some of the pipes, but it's getting there, man. This is why I probably should have hired more workmen earlier. I mean, we are making basically like a small hotel here. It's a polite way of putting it, but that's the way I like to think about my job, okay? Speaking of which, please install this electrical cable. It's like extremely urgent. And the pipes are just not working the way I need them to. How much are we missing here in order to make it functional? Probably like just this right here. These 4 pipes get installed, our life is great. No, you can definitely install that small pipe there. I know it looks like it's in a tough spot, but I got faith in you. Don't make me get in there and SimCity it myself. Oh, that might do it. That might do... Yeah, they got water. Okay. Your job is actually unnecessary. We've worked around it. We do still need that electrical cable installed, though. We can do it like this, though. Okay, so these cells are almost all functional. Why don't you work? You don't have a jail door yet. Okay, it's still being installed. We're up to 28. We could start to let in more prisoners, but I don't want to yet. And again, this electricity. If you could just build these 2 freaking electrical cables down here. They're still queued. The job is still a go. Alright, we're gonna clone this. 430 bucks. Oh, that's why you don't want to mess that up. I wish there was like an undo button. It's gonna be messy, but we'll see how they do it. There might be 2 toilets in that cell. We can always dismantle one. Yeah, this is building appropriately. You always want to make sure you're clicking right with the clone tool, because it can be a little bit of a problem to get it set up right. Good, our electricity is handled. The water is handled. It's a little messy in there. Oh, you prison booze. Welcome to solitary confinement, you guys. I think you're the first ones in here. He has $644 in cash, $12.59 in cash. Not doing that badly, honestly. Okay, what are you guys mad about? 4 prisoners have serious complaints, 2 are in solitary. Freedom. Well, if you can't do the time, don't do the crime, right? This is what we've made a terrible mistake with here. Dismantle the bed. Dismantle this radio. But get rid of the garbage, obviously. But we need to build, like, another wall here between these 2 buildings. That's why you want to make sure you're clicking properly. There we go. And then we'll make those cells again. And prepare to see a lot of red triangles. Temporarily, at least. Same thing there. And then I swear to God, this is the final part of our next cell. Our next cell block. And this is the last time we're going to need to do this stuff for a little while. Pretty soon we're going to have so many prisoners, we're going to have a whole host of other problems to deal with. We're going to put jail doors here. And that should be the end of cell block B. We should be able to hold, you know, 50 prisoners. Actually, it's going to be like 32 plus... Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, 16, 32. We're only going to have 48, so we're going to need to build like 2 more cells if we're going to reach our next grant. But we can easily put like another 2 cells up here. That's not a problem. And still some kind of room associated with it. We got like 5 more doors and then we're good to go. What time is it? It's 4 a.m. You know what? I think we can let in some prisoners today. We got like 30 capacity. I say we let in 15 today. And hopefully they got our late night message over at the prison, or the inmate processing facility, because I'd really like them to get here so we can start making Jim Cramer style mad money. We've only got 16 grand left, so we're kind of running out a little bit, but we're going to get 20 as soon as we build 2 more cell blocks. Which we should probably just do, if I'm being honest. In fact, let's just complete those right here. So, 1, 2. Boom. And 1, 2. Might as well make these all cell blocks. And we will just clone these ones right through to the door. No, not like that. Like that, yeah. And before we get too excited about things, we should remember, need some piping. And that should honestly do it right there. Once these cells actually get complete, that'll complete that grant, and that's a pretty convenient point for us to stop this video. But we're going to be reading a lot of bios in about an hour and a half when these prisoners get here. Which, to be quite honest with you, I am excited for. It's one of my favorite parts. And then the next episode, I think we're going to spend largely seeing if our originally built prison can even handle the amount of inmates that we're going to have. We should be doubling our prison size tomorrow. Get the radio in there, get the toilet. The toilet is a principal element. Get the toilet in there before the radio. Okay, here's our prisoners. Let's go down to speed 1 temporarily. Here we go. Lots of families showing up. Lots of guards. Lots of 18-year-old wives. I'm not saying that's, you know, there's anything necessarily wrong with that. It's just a surprise. It's quite young. We have some extra cells built. Doesn't this look nice? I think this prison looks... positively genial right now. Jeef Stacky was a regular party animal, dancing with Guinness in one hand and a vomit bucket in the other. One night after clubbing, Jeef went on an intoxicated rage, going as far as killing a Kristen Hoser. Don't we have that guy in our prison? He was caught in full Jedi attire in a W.H. Smith's. I don't know what that is, but I'm assuming it's like a UK chain. Rusticles Rust McLeod. Suspected of over 250 murders, but with no direct evidence laid against him, yet Russ is usually kept in maximum security compounds due to his tendency to escape. This guy must feel pretty bad that he's been designated minimum security. Interestingly, all of the victims had ties to companies accused of environmental damage. I get it, you've got an agenda. Nils Phoenix Duddle, arrested for experimenting with fire on people, which also gave him the nickname Phoenix, and setting an officer on fire during his arrest. Carjacking. Possession with intent to supply. Casey Rex Hackett was charged with hostile actions using a potato. He later responded with, "He still owes me $1.56. Alright. You're all a bunch of regular freaking characters. Get in here. And, okay, so it's going to be a real... You know what? Before anything, and before we even let those prisoners in, we should have hired at least 2 more cooks. Like, I don't know if these prisoners are all going to get fed today. I got a feeling we got, like, a start of a riot happening here. We're making some pretty sweet money now, though. All right, who else? 2 years for driving under the influence. Not cool, dog. 4 years for joyriding. Also pretty messed up. 9 years for assault. Casey Mexican Jimenez. Casey was arrested for managing a drug operation. Casey was smuggling 20 pounds of crack across the American border. Casey was released 3 years later and then arrested for DUI and possession of marijuana and intent to supply. No comments. Luca Cadgo Infante. I feel like I've seen this one before. Young hacker who as a child violates any network, from his school to finish the NSA. Caught in the middle because of his favorite whiskey, is found guilty and banned from global networks for eternity. Life imprisonment. 9 years for assault. We've almost... that's it. That's everybody. So considering that our prison is now functional, we've got all the prisoners in here. I'm going to take this opportunity to save my prison. This will be LP Prison Architect 2015-2. And that's saved. And I'll say thanks for watching. I would like to remind you this is sponsored content, so please take this as entertainment rather than honest critique. But at the same time, I do like Prison Architect, and it is available at the links in the video description below if you're interested. Again, $30 to $50 on Steam, depending on where you buy in. I'll be back tomorrow with another episode. For now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.